All right, so back with another top 10 arcade games. This year is going to be 1982. Um, so 1982, that was the year I was born. um, Another great year for arcade. I mean, this is in the classic arcade gaming era, the early 80s. I think what I'm going to do is do all of the 80s years. And then I'm gonna do some of the '70s years too, like the late '70s years, because I like those arcade games too from those years. And um, until I stopped liking new games coming out, which was sometime in the mid '90s. So just my personal preference. I love '80s, all different kinds of games from the '80s, all different kinds of games from the early '90s, and then once the 30 like the PlayStation era hit, um, I was about done liking the newer style games. And I was still pretty young, so it's kind of interesting there, I guess. I was still pretty young when that era hit, and I did like it at first. At first, I did like the Saturn PlayStation era. I bought a Sega Saturn. Um, that's the because I was a big Sega fan. I was a big Nintendo fan, big Sega fan. A new Nintendo system didn't come out till '96. By then, I was definitely done liking the newer stuff. But I tried it for a while. I liked it for a little while, and then I just got tired of it right away. It was I don't I liked some of the games from that era, like the mid '90s. I did like some of them, but for the most part, I just got bored of them really easily and went back to my uh, my older systems and my older games that to this day I have never gotten bored and tired of. I I enjoy them completely still today, just as I did growing up. Um, but when I try games from the PlayStation Saturn era on up, like the maybe let's say like 94, 95 on up, um, they just don't appeal to me or resonate with me at all. Not in any way close to how like 93 on like the 80s and early 90s up to about 93. And I'll explain that in maybe the video I do for 1993. Up to about 1993 is the last year that I really um, still loved the new games coming out. Like 94 on up, not so much. At first, maybe I did. And then I realized I didn't. So, anyway, just a minor rant there about just my personal what I personally like for like and arcade games and computer games. There are definitely some exceptions for mid to late '90s stuff. There were some PC games that I actually really liked later on in the '90s. Um, Maybe a few arcade games and possibly a few console games. There's definitely exceptions. I'm just saying like in general, for the most part, with exceptions excluded from that. So anyway, 1982. My top 10 favorite arcade games. So the first one I'm going to do is I'm going to do probably common and not so common. I like to kind of mix it up in my top 10. There's a game called Marine Boy from Orca. Orca, I think some of those guys went on to form Crux and then Teoplan later in the 80s. So that's from my understanding of it. So Orca, I like a lot of their games. So let's see, Marine Boy. It's your little diver boy, and you're trying to fight off as you dive. You go down. You keep trying to go down until you reach the bottom and save your like. I think it's a mermaid. Is it like a mermaid girlfriend or something that's trapped in a seashell down there? So you're fighting off like sharks and turtles and like fish, different stuff like that. Octopus. There's a really cute pink octopus in there at the bottom of the each level. Um, yeah, Marine Boy. It's fun though. Like every single. It's fun to see how far you can get. Um, um, the level design is good, and each level lasts a good amount of time as you keep going down further, and each level is designed a little bit differently, a little bit different. So there is definitely replay value and variety. Um, you don't always find though that in the early 80s games, but there's still a good number of games that are like that. So Marine Boy, my top 10. Um, Millipede from Atari, just a classic arcade shooter. Um, the same with my um, the same with my third pick, Robotron by Williams. Classic, classic arcade shooter. Got those in my top 10. I want to put Joust in there too by Williams. It's so much fun. Um, so that's number four. Um, I want to put Wacko by Bally Midway in my top 10. This is number five. Now, okay, Wacko, you're a little green alien. I think you're in a little spaceship, and you're trying to avoid these like alien monster things, I think, who are like walking all over this alien landscape. There's different alien landscapes that you're on, and I think you're trying to shoot like two different of the same monsters. There's like different kinds of monsters, and there's like two different kinds each. There's like different, you know what I mean? Like you're trying to match two monsters, shoot two of the same monsters, and they like disappear or something. And then you got to do that for the other monsters there too. I hope that makes sense. That probably didn't, but Wacko, definitely in my top five. That's a really fun game by Bally Midway. Um, see, number six um, was Tron, the original Tron game, 82. Yeah, I got to go with that too. Bally Midway again. Um, Nice variety in that game. How do I even explain that game? And I forgot to put in 1983 Tron Deadly Discs. That's a really cool game too. In my 83 video. But yeah, the Tron game, just check it out. It's really cool. I don't even know how to explain that one. Got a couple different varieties of stages. There's like a tank game. There's like a tank section. It's just it's just fun. I think it's really hard, or it gets really hard, really difficult, but it's really fun. Um, Number seven will be Kangaroo from Sun Electronics. I think they later became Sunsoft. It's often thought of as an Atari game, but it was developed by Sun Electronics. So it's actually a Japanese game. It's not a American developed game. Kangaroo, it's a bit like Donkey Kong. I think it's more fun. I think there's a little bit more variety to it. You're a kangaroo punching monkeys, and monkeys are trying to throw stuff at you, and I think you're trying to save the baby kangaroo. I think at the top, but yeah, I like Kangaroo a lot. That's 1982, I believe. So that gets number 7. Um, we got 3 more to go. Let's see. Okay. Um, Cubert. I have a love hate relationship with this game. I've been playing it since was growing up. I played it on the NES first, then in the arcades. Um, it's really really fun, but it gets hard and very frustrating, and so I always used to get so mad when I would die over and over over and over when I was younger. So it's still one of my favorite games ever. I gotta have it in my top 10 for 82. I mean, it's really fun. It's unique. It's very unique. There's a couple other arcade games that also kind of resemble Cubert, more obscure ones. But I think Cubert's the first of its kind, for sure. There's a game from Amori Electronics at the year after, um, where you're like a rabbit that's jumping on platforms, similar to Cubert. I really like that one too. I actually think that game might be a little bit harder. Um, I forget what that's called, but that's a good one too if you like Cubert and you want to check. Um, Hold on, let me see what the name of that game is. Okay, I'm back. Popper is the name from Amori Electric or Electronics. That is a game that's similar to Cubert. Um, I recommend checking that game out if you really like Cubert, like me. I really liked Popper too when I discovered it, and I'm glad that there's like another game that's similar to Cubert out there too. Um, there's another game called Cubert's Cubes. I don't think I liked that one that much. I don't think it was bad, but I don't know. I'd have to go back and see once my hands get better. I actually cannot play games right now. It really sucks. But hopefully one day again soon I can start playing games again. I have like really bad wrists and hands, and I just can't. I can't. Not even for like a few minutes. I can't. But um, Cubert in my top 10. Uh, and I lost my place. Was that 9 or 8? I think was that number 9. If if not, Popper's in there, and a couple others I think I mentioned that can round it out. I'll do one more from, let's see, 1982. Um, let's see. Okay. Um, so let's see. My last one. I'm gonna go with an obscure one from is this time it's from Taito. I don't think I had any Taito games in this list till now. It's a game called Super Mouse. So that's also the original name for Mighty Mouse, Super Mouse, when that series, that old cartoon series first started. Then they changed his name to Mighty Mouse, but I guess to get away from it being too similar to Superman, I guess Super Mouse. But this is Super Mouse by Taito. Um, So let's see, how do I describe this one? It's a like a platform game, but you can't. I don't think you can jump though. So it's not that. It's that type of platform game where like like how in Load Runner where you can't actually jump, but you can move around. So in this game, you I think you can climb like ladders and ropes and stuff like that, and you climb up and down around the level, single screen platformer, and there's like I think they're cats that are trying to get you. I haven't played it in a long time, so memory's a little hazy, a little fuzzy, but there's cats trying to get chasing you around, trying to get you, and there's like little trap things, little little types of traps like around the level where I think if you pass, you have to pass them or activate them somehow, and then the cat will get like trapped and briefly die before coming back. And I think you have to collect some kind of items, a certain number of items on the level, and bring them back to the beginning area wherever that is. Because I think where you start in slightly different areas each level, and the level design is slightly different each stage. That gives it variety and replay value. Um, but yeah, Super Mouse. Check it out if you love um, classic arcade games, especially like the early '80s stuff, and haven't played that yet. If you like games like I want to say like Load Runner, Donkey Kong, it's in that style. It's similar to those. Um, so anyway, that will be my top 10 um, arcade games of 1982. Um, and I will be back with 1981, 1980, and probably some of the late 70s ones, and some more early 90s ones, 92, 93. And let's see, trying to think of something more to say. I know this is just trying to add a couple extra things to these videos, I guess, make them more interesting. Um, and hopefully I did that like throughout the video. Hopefully. Um, and I will be back with another one soon.